What if everything you thought you knew about money was wrong? In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki challenges conventional wisdom about wealth, sharing lessons from two father figures with vastly different approaches to finance. This is the story of how I reshaped my mindset about money, broke free from the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, and began building true financial freedom. Kiyosaki's story begins with a comparison between his poor dad, his biological father, and his rich dad, the father of his best friend. Poor dad was highly educated, valued job security, and believed in saving money, while rich dad was a self-made entrepreneur who focused on building wealth through investing and taking calculated risks. I started reflecting on the financial advice I had grown up with. Much like poor dad, I had been taught to prioritize education, secure a stable job, and save diligently. While these principles were valuable, they often left me feeling stuck in a cycle of hard work with little progress. Kiyosaki's contrasting perspectives between the two dads opened my eyes to new possibilities for financial growth. This chapter taught me that financial success begins with mindset. By adopting Rich Dad's entrepreneurial approach and questioning traditional beliefs, I could start thinking differently about money and opportunities. Kiyosaki emphasizes that financial literacy is the foundation of wealth. He criticizes the traditional education system for failing to teach students about money and explains that understanding concepts like assets, liabilities, and cash flow is essential for building financial freedom. I realized that I had little knowledge of how money truly worked. While I understood the importance of earning and saving, I had never learned how to make money work for me. Kiyosaki's breakdown of assets and liabilities helped me see the importance of acquiring income-generating assets rather than accumulating liabilities disguised as assets. This chapter reminded me that financial education is a lifelong journey. By investing time in learning about money management, investing, and wealth-building strategies, I could take control of my financial future. Kiyosaki introduces the cash flow quadrant, which divides income earners into four categories: employees E, self-employed S, business owners B, and investors I. He explains that true financial freedom lies in transitioning from the E and S quadrants to the B and I quadrants, where passive income and wealth generation become possible. I started evaluating my own position within the cash flow quadrant. As an employee, I realized that my income was limited by the hours I worked. Kiyosaki's insights inspired me to explore ways to shift toward the B and I quadrants by developing scalable business opportunities and investments. This chapter taught me that building wealth requires a shift in focus from active income to passive income. By understanding the dynamics of the cash flow quadrant, I could begin charting a path toward financial independence. One of the core lessons of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the distinction between assets and liabilities. Kiyosaki defines assets as things that put money in your pocket and liabilities as things that take money out. He stresses the importance of acquiring income-generating assets like real estate, stocks, and businesses. I began reassessing my financial habits. Was I investing in true assets, or was I accumulating liabilities that drained my resources? Kiyosaki's perspective challenged me to rethink my purchases and focus on building a portfolio of assets that could generate passive income over time. This chapter taught me that wealth is built by prioritizing assets over liabilities. By making deliberate choices about where to allocate my money, I could begin creating a foundation for long-term financial stability. Kiyosaki highlights the importance of entrepreneurship as a pathway to financial freedom. He explains that owning a business not only provides opportunities for wealth creation, but also offers greater control over one's time and resources. Entrepreneurship, he argues, is a mindset that embraces risk, innovation, and problem-solving. I started exploring ways to develop an entrepreneurial mindset. Whether it was identifying problems I could solve, leveraging my skills, or starting a small side business, I realized that entrepreneurship was not out of reach. Kiyosaki's stories of his rich dad's ventures inspired me to think creatively and take calculated risks. This chapter reminded me that financial freedom requires stepping outside of my comfort zone. By embracing entrepreneurship, I could create opportunities for growth and redefine what success looked like in my life. Kiyosaki emphasizes that investing is a skill that can be learned and mastered. He discusses the importance of due diligence, risk management, and taking a long-term perspective when building an investment portfolio. Investing, he explains, is not about luck but about education and discipline. I began exploring different investment opportunities, from real estate to stocks to mutual funds. Kiyosaki's advice to start small and build knowledge over time helped me overcome my fear of investing. By focusing on long-term growth rather than short-term gains, I started developing a strategy that aligned with my financial goals. This chapter taught me that investing is a powerful tool for wealth creation. By committing to continuous learning and disciplined action, I could start building a portfolio that worked for me. Fear and doubt are among the biggest barriers to financial success. Kiyosaki explains that many people avoid taking risks because they fear failure, but he argues that failure is an essential part of learning and growth. By reframing mistakes as opportunities, we can develop resilience and confidence. I reflected on my own fears around money, from losing investments to starting a business. Kiyosaki's encouragement to embrace failure as a teacher helped me shift my mindset. I began taking small steps toward my financial goals, knowing that each setback was an opportunity to learn and improve. This chapter reminded me that success requires courage and persistence. By confronting my fears and taking calculated risks, I could move closer to financial freedom. Rich Dad, Poor Dad taught me that wealth is not about how much money you earn, but about how you think and what you do with it. By embracing financial education, building assets, and taking calculated risks, I began to transform my relationship with money. How can you start building your financial freedom? Remember, the journey to wealth begins with a mindset shift and a commitment to taking action.